Hello, it's Miriam Schulman here, and welcome back to video 3. And we're going to talk all about art supplies, so stay tuned. All right, so welcome back. It is time for video number 3. And if you haven't already, I do encourage you to go ahead and watch videos 1 and 2. You can find the links right above my head. Pause this, watch the other 2 videos, and come back here. So today I'm going to do 2 things with you. We're going to talk about art supplies, and I'm also going to give you a little teaser about what's coming up in video number 4. So today we're going to talk all about art supply overwhelm, and believe me, we all have it. Let me be the first one to tell you that I have to bring my daughter with me when I go art supplies shopping to be my art supply police, because I get so distracted by everything that's not on my list and all these big white shiny bottles and washi tape and stencils and everything. So in order to keep myself focused, I usually have to bring an art supply policeman with me, or I just order online. To help you focus, because I'm going to provide you with a concise list of the best supplies, and I've been hinting how there's actually a full class that you can sign up for. This is the teaser, and I really do hope you get a lot of hints and tricks out of this teaser class. But I am going to give you my full supply list, so you'll have that whether you sign up for the class or not. Because I know there's a lot of art teachers out there who don't give the art supply list ahead of time. And I just don't think that's right, because after you sign up, you don't want to have to wait for everything to arrive. You want to start taking the class and have all the supplies ready the very first day. And those of you who don't want to sign up, totally fine. You can still learn from me today and buy the right supplies. I just want to give you a quick refresher about what we talked about in the last video. So you don't have to go to art school. There's no art fairy deeming some people artists and other people not. We can all be artists, and you are the perfect age for making art. Your story is perfect just the way it is, and it is all about sharing your story and taking time for yourself. So let's get started talking about the right art supplies. I'm going to let you download the list at the end of this video, so you don't have to worry about taking notes or anything like that. Life is too short to take notes, and I'll even email it to you tomorrow. Let's not let art supplies hold you back. My full course has a step-by-step on how to use every single supply, but you're going to learn a lot of hints about what these products are today. One question that I get asked all the time is, should I invest in the really good stuff, or should I wait until I get better to invest in the better stuff? And I have 2 answers for you, and you really can't go wrong. And my philosophy is that if you have something else and you want to use it, great, you can go use it. And there's really no wrong way to go. The only thing that's wrong is just by doing nothing. I'm going to give you the exact supplies, and there's basically 7 things you have to make mixed media art. First of all, you need to create a place to create. Now, I have a studio, but all you really need is a table. You don't have to have a fancy studio. I have a studio, but my studio really is a spare bedroom that I have taken over. The kitchen table works perfectly fine for creating art, and I've created plenty of art on my dining room and my kitchen table before I had a dedicated studio. Next, you need a support, and a support is just something you put your art on. So a canvas, an art journal, watercolor paper. So we'll talk about that in the list as well. Second, you need things to add marks. Marks can be markers, pens, charcoals, things like that. So that will be on the list. Next, you need to be able to add color, and black and white are colors. And by the way, in my course, I do go into a lot of detail on how to pick a harmonious color palette, because I know a lot of people have talked about that as being a struggle. Some people, they only do red, black, and white, or they just don't know how to make things go together. So my course really goes into depth on how to choose a color palette. And by the way, it's a lot easier than you think. It's really like cheating. The next thing you need is something to add texture. By the way, a little spoiler alert, fancy stencils are not really required. Next, you need something to add pattern, and by pattern, we're talking things like old books and text and piano music and magazines or scrapbook paper, things like that. And finally, you need adhesives. And I know that's what a lot of people are dying and chomping at the bit to find out what I used, and I will be revealing that today. So don't worry about that. Okay, so here we go with a quick primer on the exact supplies I use. All right, so you're going to be able to download this exact list right here underneath the video. At the end of the video, you'll see a pop-up to download it. And I'm going to go over the supplies that you're going to need. Beautiful mixed media works of art and backgrounds that look like this. So first of all, I recommend that you get a coordinating book of scrapbook papers. Washi tape is really helpful and also addicting. And I do recommend that you look for washi tape that has a little bit of transparency to it. I know Tim Holtz makes washi tape that he calls tissue paper, and it's great because it is very transparent, but there are plenty of brands around that have transparency to it that help you see the layers underneath. Some scissors. You can have any kind of scissors. It doesn't have to be fancy sewing scissors like these that I've completely ruined. Believe it or not, you want a glue stick, and any glue stick will do the trick. And here is a secret I'm revealing to you in this free series, and that is that I love to use art magazines, especially the ones with the large photographs. I do have a bias for Somerset Studio. If you can't find that in your country, I'm really just looking for an art magazine that has lots of large pictures. There are other excellent magazines, but they don't seem to have the same large pictures that this one does. In this class, I do introduce Faber-Castell big brush pens. They're beautiful because they are permanent as well as transparent. I don't get as much into markers in this course as I do in the Painting with Words class, which is an art journaling class. So if you want to know more about markers, you can take that class instead or in addition. Then you're going to need some Liquitex matte medium. I say Liquitex. I don't know other brands, but I'm sure the brand doesn't matter. What's important is that it's matte. I did get some questions about why not Mod Podge. All right, here's the Mod Podge. Do not use Mod Podge. Why? Because even though your project may look as good as if you use the expensive stuff, if you're doing any kind of art journaling, your pages are going to stick together even when they're dry. Another item on the list is glazing fluid, and it really makes absolutely no difference whether you get Golden's or Liquitex. I think they're pretty much identical, so if you want to figure out which one's cheaper, just go with the cheaper option. Definitely want to pick up some heavy gel medium, as well as gessos. I use black gesso, white gesso. By the way, white gesso is just going to say gesso. And I also use clear gesso for some projects. Now, for doing a lot of layers, it's perfectly acceptable to just use cheap craft paint because a lot of it's going to get covered up anyway. And here's where you can have a lot of fun just picking out colors you like that make you happy, because they're only a few dollars each. I do believe that golden fluid acrylics are worth the investment because of the vibrancy and the transparency. And if you do sign up for the full course, you will learn how to use these types of colors for glazing. Again, choose colors that make you happy. On the list, I just provided you the names of the colors that I use in my demonstrations, but any colors that inspire happiness are the right ones. I keep getting asked by people, what are my favorite colors for creating flowers? And the one color that I absolutely can't live without is the green gold. So I love it. It's a perfect shade of olive green, and it's nice and transparent. So I always use that for my flowers. I go into a lot of instruction inside of Garden Party, but I just thought I could just share that information with you here. For versatility, I definitely recommend get both Titan Buff and Titanium White. For drawing on top of your canvases, the best pens are rollerball pens, and Pentel, Signal, and Straddle all make beautiful pens that are archival. And the reason these work so well for mixed media is they're actually meant for check writing, which are archival ink. Now, whatever money you spent on the fluid acrylics, you can definitely save by buying cheap brushes. In fact, kind of the grosser the better. And this way, if you don't wash them properly, you can just throw them out. And I buy white nylon in a variety of sizes, kind of like these. Now, I also like to use different kinds of sponges. Now, I get cosmetic sponges, roller sponges, and sponge on a stick, and you probably don't need all three, but it's just for convenience that you have these different shapes. Stencils are fun, and there's some really great ones out there on the market, but most of the time I prefer to use texture tools, the kinds of things you can find either at a hardware store, a sewing supply store. I think that they're called sequin waste. You can get on Etsy, and these mesh and screens really create great patterns on your art without it feeling like it looks like somebody else's art, or using patterns that really aren't your style. I especially like this to get them in a variety of sizes. Other texture tools you're going to want are bubble wrap. You're going to want Lego wheels. You're going to want, archival ink stamp pads. So my favorite colors are sepia and coffee. I have a sepia one and I have a coffee one. And there's probably some other colors out there that you can experiment. They tend to look better than black on canvases, but just my own aesthetic. But of course you can get black if you like black. Alcohol inks. Ugh, I love alcohol inks. Look, look how many I have. And look how gorgeous these colors are. They're so intense. If you're gonna take my course, you're gonna definitely wanna get white because I use that color a lot. The white comes with the black. The black is very helpful. And the colors come in sets, which is really handy for coordinating colors. You need matte acrylic spray. I mentioned that in video 1. If you're impatient, you're gonna want a heat gun and you're gonna want something to put your art on. So that could be a gallery wrapped canvas like this, or it could be just your art journal. Either way. Watercolor paper, and very important is you want some sort of white pen. I think this is Ranger that I have right here, but I have experimented with the white pens, and this is my current favorite Uniball Signo pen. And the black Uniballs Signal pens are awesome as well. And last but not least, you're gonna need a black Sharpie, even though I can't remember what it was I used it for in my course. But you're going to want that as well. So that is it for the supplies. So I want to give you a quick little preview teaser about the shenanigans that are coming next. This mixed media madness course is different than anything else out there. In fact, it's different than anything else I've even offered in the past for those of you who have taken my classes. I felt it was very, very important that you just not only learn how to create the projects that I'm demonstrating, but you really master my process. Remember we talked about how it's a big mistake if all your art looks like the teachers, and that's really not your fault if that's happening. What's happening is that you're taking classes where you're being taught how to make a mixed media snowman or a mixed media Christmas tree or whatever it happens to be, but you're not really mastering a process so that you can apply it on your own and really take it to something that is unique to you and develop your own style with it. You are going to make projects in my course, of course, but I'm going to really delve into the process so you come away with mastery from that. And then, of course, the other ways that I'm different than a lot of teachers. Well, first of all, you're getting the supply list ahead of time. My classes don't expire. I've taken other artist classes, and there's some really lovely art classes out there, but unfortunately some of them expire. They expire in a year or they expire in 6 months. And even though it doesn't take that long to learn this material, sometimes life gets busy or you just want 6 months from now to review it. So I totally get that. So that's why my classes do not expire. The other thing that I've done is I've made my classroom absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful to navigate. You click from segment to segment. So I don't want to get into too much detail about what's coming up in that. I'm going to share more of that next. There's going to be some bonuses in this course that are absolutely epic. And it's not like these little fluffy bonuses. I mean, I've already preloaded it. Some of you guys are going to want to take the class just for the bonuses. So trust me, you're going to want to find out what that is. So this course is going to give you exactly what you need and nothing you don't need. It's not a fluffy course, no social worker stuff. I mean, I do provide lots of inspirational quotes and I make it beautiful and blah, blah, blah. You know, I can't help myself but try to inspire you guys, but it's not going to be a course about, it's not a therapy course. It is an art class. So thanks so much for joining me today. I'm really grateful for all the comments and everything you've left. And just so moved by all that. I'm so happy that people are already taking action and breaking free of their creative blocks and working on the art, because that's really the whole point. So I can't wait to see you in video number 4, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.